through 36. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 32 through 36.
All right.
Minister Herron's already smiling back there. He must know it already. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 32 through 36.
Amen.
And when you get there, you should find these words. Remember those earlier days after you had received the light, when you endured in a great conflict full of suffering. Sometimes you were publicly exposed to insult and persecution. At other times, you stood side by side with those who were so treated. You suffered along with those in prison and joyfully accepted the confiscation of your property, because you knew that you yourselves had better and lasting possessions.
Yes,
so do not throw away your confidence. It will be richly rewarded.
Amen.
You need to persevere so that when you have done the will of God, you will receive what he has promised.
Go ahead.
You will receive what he has promised. Pastor Jordan, if I could, I would like to use as a sermon topic today, you have the power to take a licking and keep on ticking. You have the power to take a licking and keep on ticking. Before you take your seat, tell your neighbor, you have the power to take a licking and keep on ticking. You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. You have the power to take a licking and keep on ticking.
Preach, Reverend.
God. Power to take a licking and to keep on ticking. Pastor Jordan, when the Lord gave me this text, he reminded me of the Timex Watch Corporation's expression, it takes a licking and it keeps on ticking. Some of you may already know that. The young folks may not know that yet, but we, as old folks, we know that. All right? It takes a licking and keep on ticking. I remember they would have infomercials showing the durability of its watches. What they would do is, I saw one time, they strapped the watch to a dolphin, and the dolphin went deep down underwater. And when the dolphin came back up, Brother Jeff, the watch was still ticking.
Come on now.
The host showed him the watch, and it was still ticking. Another time, they strapped the watch to an elephant.
All right now.
And this elephant took the watch and rolled it around in the dirt and in the mud. And the host grabbed the watch and he showed the audience the watch. And the watch was still ticking. Still ticking. The actresses and celebrities were amazed. They started getting involved with this whole infomercial thing. They wanted to get in on this Timex watch expression. Even Hall of Fame baseball player Mickey Mantle, he strapped the watch to the end of his bat, and he took the bat for batting practice. Took the bat out for batting practice. And when he finished, Pastor Jordan, when he finished, he came back, and the host of the infomercial grabbed the watch and showed the audience that, lo and behold, the watch was still ticking. It was still ticking.
Paint the picture, Reverend. Paint the picture.
You see, Timex was trying to show its audience that no matter how much torture you put our watches through. Somebody already got it already. No matter how much torture you put our watches through, it has the power to take a licking and keep on. Somebody in the audience knows it already. Somebody knows it already. And Reverend, I believe that we as Christians, we should have that exact same power. I believe that we should have the power to take a licking and to keep on ticking. No matter what life brings us, we should have that power. We should have it. If life challenges brings us down from depression in everyday life, we should be able to pick ourselves up and take our lickings and keep on ticking. You know, when life throws us, and they can do that right now, when life drags our names through the dirt and the mud, when they talk about you at work, they talk about you at work, school, or even at church, they dragging your name through the dirt and the mud. I believe that we should dust ourselves off and be able to take our lickings and keep on ticking. When life throws you a curveball, when they throw you a curveball, we should be able to stand at the home plate of life, and we should be able to take our lickings and keep on ticking. Tell your neighbor, you have the power to take a licking and keep on. Amen. You have the power. You have the power to take the licking and keep on ticking.
Paint the picture, Reverend. Paint the picture. Amen.
You know, I love the saying that tough times need tough people. I love that saying, Pastor Jordan. And when we look at our text in the book of Hebrews, we find the writer trying to tell the audience the exact same thing in chapter 10. He was trying to tell his audience that you have the power to take a licking and to keep on ticking. Just to give you a little history on the book of Hebrews.
Help us, sir. Help us.
When you look at the book of Hebrews, it's the 19th book in the New Testament. It's the only book in the New Testament, Pastor Jordan, that does not have a writer, that does not have an author identified with it. It's an unidentified author. And the thing is, but however, in chapter 2 of Hebrews, we find that we see that he was always in the face of Jesus' disciples. He was around them. So they had to include this book in the Bible. But his audience that he was talking to at the time, they were newly converted Jewish Christians. They were new Christians. These Christians were, they were about 4 years in. About 4 years in. About 4 years in. They were newly converted Christians. And what he was trying to tell them is that he wanted them to stay with him. He wanted them to be with him at all times. However, these folks were in church every Sunday. They would come to church and listen to the word. And listen to the preacher. You may find some of his members as greeters or even on the usher board. They may have even been on the choir. They may have even been on the pastoral aid committee. They loved the church. These folks loved the church. They loved the church. They were involved in the church. But their one problem, Elder Sheila, was that when they left the church. God, somebody's been reading the Bible. Somebody's been in Bible study. The only problem was that when they left the church, they were subject to public persecution. They were subject to public persecution. You know,
take your time, bro.
If you're writing today, my first point is you're going to face persecution. That's my very first point. My first point is you're going to face persecution.
No doubt.
Whether you've been in church for 1 year or for 100 years, you're going to face persecution.
Talk about it, Reverend.
The Bible tells us in 2 Timothy 3:12, everyone who wants to live a godly life in Christ Jesus will be persecuted. All right. This word persecution is the act of hating someone just because of their beliefs. Hating them just because of what they believe. And when we look at these newly converted Christians, they found it difficult to fit into society. They found it difficult. They They found themselves being mocked. They found themselves being insulted. They found themselves being abused, harassed, and oftentimes they found themselves being mistreated.
Talk, Reverend. Yeah. Don't run now.
They were going through so much adversity that it made them just want to give up. Many of them was just wanted to throw in the towel.
All right.
We've all been there. If we can be honest with ourselves, we've all been in those same shoes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, these newly converted Christians start to feel like the cost to follow Christ was just not worth it.